A type 6 that is stronger than COVID-19. Rapidly sweeping the world. Rapid rate of transmission, extremely high mortality rate. 8th day of infection in the US appeared 890,000 12th day of infection worldwide. Over 8 million people. 14th day. The Centers for Disease Control predicts 70 million people will lose their lives around the world. On the 21st day, the death toll in the United States reached 2,500,000. In the future, there will be 580 million people infected globally. The first F of this super powerful virus is speculated. It started with the body of a 34-year-old woman. From Mediapolis, USA. The first day of infection, office worker named Ben flies to Hong Kong. Sign a contract late at night. She and her business partner went to the casino to try their luck. Ben won the first game. The Japanese next door saw Hurry up and pick up your chips. Tell Ben to take a breath. He wanted to get some luck from Ben. Then Ben came to order 2 glasses of wine. Forgot to hold the phone. Ukrainian girl nearby hands her phone. While socializing with a partner, Ben does not drink much, so please allow me to go back to the waiter to clear your glasses. Just like that. A lively gathering. Become a source of super powerful viral infections. The next day Ben boarded back to Mediapolis. She's starting to cough now. She has a headache and a low fever. But Ben only thinks of body abnormalities caused by time zone differences. To Ben's house hugging his young son. The 3rd day of infection. Ben's son has a fever. Husband Mike. I thought he and his wife had the same flu. But wait until the 4th day. Ben suddenly fainted on the spot and foamed his mouth. Mike rushed call for rescue. Take her to the hospital. The doctor seizes every minute of the emergency. But be still taken away by a strange type 6. The Mike is amazing. She had dinner with me an hour ago. SAO can suddenly be separated by yin and yang. The doctor couldn't give an exact cause of the disease, can only wait for the autopsy report. Then came the conclusion. Mike gets in the car and goes home in a bad mood. But once again I've learned some very bad news. Your son also fainted. Until he gets home. The boy had stopped breathing symptoms first. When you die, it's just like bed. At the same time, the waiter used to tidy up Ben's glass of wine. I started sweating all over. As we got on the boat home, our feet wobbled. Then you get on the cramped subway. Hand clinging to the iron rod through the sea. Lots of people on the street. In a dreamy moment of high fever, he was hit by a car and killed. Ukrainian girl returned to London. At work, my mind is spinning. The whole thing is hot. She puts the documents she's been in contact with on the table. Take a taxi home. Until someone sees you again. She died in the hotel bathtub, 2 black legs. The Japanese told Ben to blow his luck into back to Tokyo. Suddenly fainted on the bus, died on the spot. People who have been in contact with Ben, all died of a type 6 withdrawal. Not specified. Thursday 6 withdrawal and his girlfriend, service staff, take his ashes back to his hometown of Guangdong. And then died quietly on the bus. Long distance at the same time. Diseases caused by 6 withdrawal. Strong land spread across regions around the globe. Those who are infected are locked down. Hong Kong, London, Tokyo. And most cities in the United States. In turn was attacked by strange withdrawal. Very fast. The land transmission of the virus attracted the attention of the US and CDC. The World Health Organization, according to Ben's autopsy. Detect the symptoms that this virus causes. It's completely different from infectious diseases. Used to know. And the rate of infection is much faster. Extremely high mortality rate. By Thursday evening, 5 people had died. 32 people suspected of infection. To investigate the cause of the disease, CDC director is female travel. My assistant, Erin, came to Ben's hometown. Find the contact. Where did the 6 investigation come from? The epidemic broke out on Friday. People are not aware right now. The seriousness of the matter. Outside the school that Beatles' son attended, asked by the government to shut it down. 4 more people died of the strange virus. Other schools are learning as usual. Adults go to work as usual. If someone shows any symptoms, the government just asked them to stay home. Wait for the Ministry of Health to confirm the information. Assistant Erin takes a plane to Minneapolis. Let's start investigating the people who went with bed. Fortunately, Ben came home from work. Not much contact with outsiders. But there's still 2 fish caught in the net. A male colleague came to the airport to pick up Ben. The other is the Mike husband, ever in close contact with you. The assistant immediately isolates the Mike. At the same time, conduct daily checks for him. Fortunately, in the body of the Mike there are antibodies against 6 withdrawal. So there's no problem. But during this time, the Mike suddenly spotted Ben on a business trip. Go to Chicago, having an illicit relationship with an ex-lover. These 2-kilometer-long horns make me very uncomfortable. But the Mike wants to find him. It shouldn't have been possible. Because my ex-boyfriend is dead. This is God with eyes. The cuckoo will meet the retribution. There are no symptoms compared to the Mike. My colleague is a little unlucky. He started coughing up a fever. By the time his assistant Erin found him, he was unconscious. People at the bus station. 2 his hands were in contact with a lot of surfaces on the car. The transmission of the virus. It will not be controlled as easily. Fortunately, God doesn't care. CDC and the World Health Organization in collaboration. It only took a few days to investigate the pathogen. There are more than 70 million genotypes in the world. But there are 2 types of people who are determined not to move. And as a fallen pig. 6 extremely strong withdrawal. This time contains the genes of both species. What's scary is this virus. Not just directly into the brain and human lungs, it's also constantly changing. It's going to actively differentiate the speed of human cells. Then wait for the right time to act. invades the entire operating sequence in an efficient manner. Chi-verse is also very funny to say. The virus has nothing to do. I only know how to do this. It's really free to be born. Currently the CDC, it can only be identified. This disease is caused by a type 6 new type, but still couldn't find an effective treatment. Day 8. U.S. epidemic has appeared 890,000 disease. It's likely to infect 267,000 people. To save people from the hands of death, the live streaming host requires a safe biology lab. Slope. This new virus research, laboratories from level 4 and below, not studied anymore. This is also for their safety. But Dr. Elite made a new discovery. He doesn't want the river to collapse. Don't want to miss the right time. Find a cure. But the superiors didn't allow further research. That puts him in a dilemma. Go to the restaurant alone. Hear the coughs of the diners. The contact at the reception. Two mother-son intimate sucking food. He suddenly woke up. Then raising your eyes to look at the land virus. At the risk of offend, give people a little strength. Late at night, Dr. Elite enters the BA lab, burying your head, and actually nourish the virus. But Tree's first reaction, when I heard that Elite had succeeded, not agitated. I'm worried he's going to use this to look like I am. Ask his superiors to promote him. But the truth is, Tree is measuring the gentleman's heart. By Elite just rewarded a bottle of Sprite. It's not hidden. Shared to CDC Center, the results of his research. Chi-verse is a little shy, but this is the cruel reality. Elite doesn't seek fame. Give your all while the world is at stake. But not everyone has a beautiful ideal. Because people like you, Allen Network author, I want to borrow news about the Japanese death on infection, the bus, to write about the information that he knows. But the newspaper doesn't allow it. A short post of that time, with the image of a righteous warrior, standing on the side of the masses. To confront the government's arguments, we must reveal the truth to the people. But in fact, wait until 12 million people support you. Help me have the right to speak up. He must have rotted to the bone by then. So Adam's not just chasing the truth anymore. It's about the interests behind the truth. When the inhuman pharmaceutical specialized in seizing opportunities, he was blinded by profit to reason, lose all conscience. In an uninfected condition, he pretended to have a fever and made a video of himself lying, have symptoms of infection, then take the citria cheese jar that pharmaceutical companies provide, and said that since the onset of the symptoms, always drink this. I want fans to believe. He said if I could live until tomorrow. This proves that this drug is useful. In fact proved. What kind of sick person fakes it? Not from the fans he's lured away by his bewilderment. They lose the ability to judge. To the corn pharmacy for Cydia. The epidemic broke out on the 12th. Infected people around the world exceed 8 million. World Health Organization and Center for Disease Control. The CDC is just getting started on vaccine research. It's only a few months until the testing phase. On the human body. They use monkeys. There's a human-like genome to experiment with. I want to find the perfect cure. During that time, people everywhere see people around. Continued appearance of disease symptoms. The mood of crisis is rising. They lined up at the drugstore. They also want to buy first. Some people don't even wear masks. There is not much medicine for Cydia. Everyone rushed to smash the glass door together. No more civilized lines. Allen and the pharmaceutical company. That's why I made a lot of money. Allen made $4,500,000 rose money from the pharmaceutical company. The 18th day of the epidemic. All the shops on the street closed down. Some people during the chaos. They set fire to the door and stole food. Law enforcement turnover rate continues to rise. In the supermarket, the cashiers are on strike. People are stealing food. Mix with your daughter to get food. After seeing the chaotic crowd on the road, they quickly disinfected and went home. In this very chaotic context, most people want to benefit themselves. Life protection options. But there's still a part of the people who stand out. Assistant Aaron's responsibility. Finished investigating the situation. By contact. Start looking for the quarantine zone. Concentrated in the city media polis, where the epidemic is most severe. During this time Aaron contacted countless people. But to protect more people, you don't care about death. Even if the locals don't want to give your place to make a quarantine. Hard piled up. Aaron also did not give up. But at the same time, things are moving in a good direction. You suddenly fall down. The virus didn't let go of Aaron. Aaron is lonely at this moment, but still trying to suppress the tragic. Immediately call the hotel front desk. Isolate everyone who comes near your room. The last few days, Aaron then called to report the situation to Chi. Travel is now in Atlanta. He wanted to send a plane to pick up his assistant, but the superior 0D. Apparently not long ago, a senator vacationing in Chicago was infected. The government sent a plane to pick him up. Washington faces this question. The village boss said it must be sealed off. Epidemic outbreak. Blockade of roads. Stop people from leaving their homes and doing business. Steve had to agree because he thought it was for the world. But he's still kind of selfish. Hurry up and call your wife. Tell her to pack up and leave Chicago. I didn't forget to tell Atlanta. Don't talk about this to anyone. The wife is aware of the seriousness of the problem. Go to the supermarket immediately to buy. But still not keeping my mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. The whole city's about to shut down for itself. My best friend is also a talker. Just a moment ago I promised I wouldn't tell anyone. The next second, the whole city heard. People are racing to get out of the city. That includes the mic and your daughter. The city has caught top blockade, so they don't end up getting out of the head-home shot. How harmful is the new virus? The epidemic raged on the 16th. The body bag wasn't enough. People who died of infection. You can only use plastic bags to wrap
21st day 6 withdrawal variant.
CDC predicts 1 in 12 people worldwide will be infected.
That's about 580 million people.
The hearts of the bewildered
Fortiter
people.
drug prices are advertised. Alan.
It's getting higher and higher.
Just produced has been scrambled to buy clean.
Alan's the one who helped sell the drugs. Just shouted Fortiter champion, wearing body protection and handing out flyers,
that the government and the CDC are lying.
When you see your pregnant friend miserable,
please sell me some cheese.
Alan's inner self is a little bit irritated but still lies.
I just said I'm out of medicine.
Rather than admit
it's all just a lie.
Eventually, her friend and her unborn child lost their lives.
Alan changed to black in front of everyone,
leading public opinion to cause confusion in society.
He went to TI6 to confront the director of Chives. Chives is sure that
Alan leads the public with
to get them into the trap of buying fake drugs
and help him make a profit,
but I doubt.
Alan investigation
He
is
told
believed
his wife to leave Chicago
before the city closed. This time it completely knocked out Tree's confidence. It also increases the image of
predicts
God.
Alan's future in the hearts of fans.
More solid. The epidemic broke out on the 26th.
The streets are littered with trash and there's no cleanup.
The once vibrant city now looks desolate.
Gym Aquarium Company 01 ball person.
Only when the government sends out food.
Everybody's wearing protective
Long
gear.
lines on the street collecting food.
But very quickly, there's not enough food.
People lose security and order.
Despite the military's oppression,
they started robbing each other.
The death toll in the United States has now reached 2,500,000.
The rate of law enforcement employees leaving nearly 25%.
The government decided to enforce a curfew.
At night, the epidemic broke out on the 29th day.
The city at night becomes a haven for criminals. Some people ignore the risk of infection in their homes.
Others plunder.
When the mic sees it, call the police.
But the police phone has turned into a hotline.
Reported the dead. No one cares about this robbery at all. Fortunately, something good happened that day. The CDC is finally working on a vaccine,
but it still takes time to do clinical trials.
Then, contact the production company and the distribution company.
Dr. Stone of the CDC Center for Disease Control,
for shortening the time.
You should inject yourself.
Then I went to the hospital and met the infected father.
It turns out that Stone was right.
The 133rd day of the epidemic.
The first batch of vaccines was finally produced.
But the quantity is limited.
AI is pre-injected.
Who has to inject later becomes a problem.
So someone broke into the CDC director's house.
Is Cheever robbing vaccines?
They think that
the government will vaccinate senior leaders first.
In fact, they're only half right.
For the stability of the people,
the government thinks it's fair.
Use your birthday to decide which AI to inject
this
first.
This method is widely accepted,
born 10/3,
to be the first immunized subject.
But senior leaders weren't born that day. Still get the vaccine. Honest Cheevers gives you his vaccine. Mail-made used. You're wearing a ring. Prove it was injected to hide it. Alan is the one who leads the way.
While the epidemic was unpunished,
he's only been arrested one day by 12 million fans. There's no accountability.
Alan was found innocent by the court.
The 135th day of the epidemic.
Alan is on the street again.
It's a picture of people lining up for vaccines.
Is he really sorry?
Then we can't know. But a year later, the disease was under control.
Everyone is vaccinated.
The disease is also completely contained.
So where does the pathogen come from?
Back the day before the outbreak, in a forest somewhere in Hong Kong, a tree knocked down by a bulldozer. A flock landed on it resting in a hurry to fly away. A bat in a flock flies up a banana tree, bite a piece of banana and fly to the pig farm. A piece of banana unfortunately slips out of its mouth. The next day the pig was taken to the restaurant. Chef Handel without wearing gloves. Suddenly a visitor wanted to see him. He washes his hands casually on the apron.
Take a picture with the guest.
This guest, that's Ben. Notice the label on that bulldozer again. It's the exact same brand that Ben works for. It also means the source of all this comes from this company. They destroy the environment.
Ben went to Hong Kong to sign a contract.
Became the first. The punishment of Mother Nature. This is a sci-fi movie, launched in year 2 number 11.
It's called Infectious Disease.
After watching the movie, what do you think? Please let us know in the comment section. Thank you for your interest. Follow. Hello and see you later.